And hello, everyone. Welcome to 2 Point Conversion on the Going for Two Live. We have two wonderful guests today, Mr. Danny Ocean, whose Twitter handle means nothing, but 14 is his favorite number. And then Mr. Bob Lung, whose Twitter handle is completely his name. So it's like really easy to follow both of them. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me today. I appreciate both of you.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No worries. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk Fantasy Football Expo. We're going to talk this wonderful guide that Mr. Long has, and we're going to talk a little bit NBA, probably a lot of NBA because Danny is our NBA czar. But before we do that, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsor. Our sponsor is Manscaped, who, if you don't know, and I cannot imagine anyone in the known universe not knowing, Manscaped is concerned with gentlemen's hygiene and grooming, which is very important. Trust me. So you go to manscaped.com, not now, but as soon as the podcast is over. And today we're going to talk specifically about, so Manscaped has two specials going on. Well, they may have more. I just stopped at the second one. We're going to talk about the second special. It's called the Perfect Package, because who in this universe is not looking for the perfect package? Seriously. So the Perfect Package is you're going to get the lawnmower, which is going to help you, shape up that area. And then you get both, I think it's the Crop Preserver and the Crop Reviver, both which are solely concerned about your balls to keep them smelling good, to keep them from chafing. All in one package, 43% off. Dude, okay, I've been waiting all day to say this. You get the perfect package, and it will make your package perfect. Boom! Boom!
Money.
There it is.
Who does? And it's 43% off. So, gentlemen, if you, and I know you do, want perfect packages so that, they're perfect and your package can be perfect, go to manscaped.com, perfect package, 43% off, and put in 2 points, which is my promo code, and see if you get free shipping too. But do you really need free shipping if you have 43% off? Seriously, you got 43% off your perfect package. That's all I have to say. And then just remember that Manscaped teams with the Testicular Cancer Society, which is probably the most important part of it, to help raise awareness about testicular cancer, which is the number one cancer amongst men, I think 14 to 35. Everyone knows someone in that age range. Everyone will want someone in that age range's balls to be protected. Go get your perfect package. Have your package perfect. That's all I got. Manscaped's where you're going, okay? Oh, and Garrison, who would know, say they have the most comfortable boxers, by the way, Manscaped. Oh, I have a pair. They are comfortable. They are comfortable for females. I should have worn them today, but I didn't. But yeah, they do have the most comfortable boxers. Gee, thanks. Miss your face. All right. So, gentlemen, welcome again to the 2 Point Conversion and everyone else. Let's start with you, Mr. Long. Tell the people a little bit about you, including what would be your walk-up song.
Ooh. All right. I'll start with the walk-up song. So the walk-up song for me has always been and always will be Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue. The perfect beginning with the guitar sounding like a gear shifter. This to me revs you up every time. So I've always felt like that's the perfect one for me. And I'm a big Motley Crue fan and hard rock fan, so that helps. So a little bit about myself. So again, my name is Bob Lung. Website is bigguyfantasysports.com. And the fantasyfootballexpo.com, which are the two things going on. I've been playing fantasy since 1985. I've been writing about my consistency theory since 2002. My annual fantasy football consistency guide has been out now for about 4 or 5 years, and it has been nominated 4 times for best fantasy football publication by Fantasy Sports Writers of America, and I won the title in 2018, and that will be coming out. The 2021 version will be coming out this weekend on Amazon, so make sure you get your copy then. And that's pretty much what I've been doing.
Wait, can we see? You have like the copy. Can we see what it looks like, the front?
Oh, well, that was actually last year's one. The one I posted when I retweeted your thing today, I put this year's copy, just the new copy picture up.
All right.
But yeah, it'll be on Amazon this weekend. And if you follow me at Bob_Lung, I'm sure you will see the announcements going out quite a bit.
Excellent. Mr. Ocean, what about you?
It's not as impressive as that. This is going to be.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. No, it's all great. I do a little bit of writing over at Going for Two. I too have a show on the Going for Two Lab Network on Tuesday nights at 7:00. It's called Speak On It with my good friend Losty Mix. It's supposed to be about sports, but God knows where the conversation will lead. It's about sports, but I think the other day we rambled for like 20 minutes about how Batman's not a real superhero. So just a lot of fun stuff. He's not. But he's not. He's a great detective. He's not a superhero. He's rich. He's not a superhero. That's not a superpower. Yeah. Same goes for Tony Stark. Like, he's not a superhero either. He's just rich. Oh, PJ, my man is in the chat. But yeah, catch us on Tuesday, 7:00 on the Going for Two Lab Network. We have a lot of fun.
What's your walk-up song, hun?
Oh, my walk-up song is Cameron. Oh boy, forever and ever. That'll always. At my wedding, I was with my wife upstairs to the restroom, and the DJ dropped Oh boy, and I ran downstairs. Like that is. And no, she joined me. That's forever and ever. Oh boy.
First, before we get started, Sean wants to know this question. And I think, Bob, this would probably be more in your Superflex Wilson, 2 quarterbacks bad, have the 102 this weekend in the rookie draft. Who do you guys like there? Wilson? No. Lance? Maybe. Fields? I like Fields. What do you have?
Rookie quarterbacks, obviously, when you're in a dynasty league, you're not just playing for this year or even just next year. You're playing for down the road.
Right.
If I was playing for this year and even next year, I'd probably go Lance just because he has such a great team around him in San Francisco. But I feel like Fields has the most talent of the three without question. The problem is that Chicago's got David Montgomery and Allen Robinson. And Robinson could have been traded in the offseason, and he's getting much older. So, to be honest with you, I think that the guy with the better team and the most fantasy potential for long term really is probably Trey Lance in San Francisco.
What you got, Mr. Ocean?
First and foremost, I'm the last man you should be listening to about fantasy advice. So let's see. He's a cute. Yeah, let's go with Lance because he has a cool hairdo. That's how I do stuff. Like, oh man, his hair. As a man with no hair, I do notice a good head of hair, and Trey does have the nice curls going. So let's go with Trey.
Lance got that pretty boy hair though. He's got the whole pretty boy look.
Yeah.
As a man with no look, I can help it.
But he plays for the Jets, and it's just not worth it.
No, I think. The Lances are valid for long term. The problem is I don't play Dynasty that much, so right. I would go Fields because I like the here and now. And we have a little disagreement with you, Mr. Ocean, from your friend PJ, who says Iron Man is a superhero because he saved the world, which is a valid point. PJ.
My retort to that, PJ, is if he were a superhero, he would not have died.
Superheroes don't die?
Not like that. Hulk put on the gauntlet and snapped his finger. He lived.
Okay. All right. That's true. Superhero, maybe. Whatever.
Marvel fan.
And I think she's a superhero. I can't talk to you right now. Hi, Kyle. Kyle, look, I took your advice from the podcast this weekend. I had the Going for Two hat on. Hulk can't die. That's true.
He's a superhero.
All right. Let's get started with Mr. Lung. Why don't you tell us all about the Fantasy Expo?
So the Fantasy Football Expo, we actually did it 2 years ago, and interestingly enough, our boy on here, Kyle Senra, was one of the people that did actually make it to that event. He was there. So Kyle, it was great to have you 2 years ago. Haven't seen you sign up for this year though, bud. So make sure you get in there. Anyway, so the Fantasy Football Expo will be held in Canton, Ohio on August 15th. The event is actually that Sunday, the 15th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Now, here's what I tell everybody. Don't just come for the expo, though. Come for the whole fantasy football weekend because it starts Friday night with a party. We got Saturday. We're doing the Kings Classic, which is the live biggest expert draft, best expert draft in the country. All the top names are there. We do it live from the from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. SiriusXM will be there broadcasting as they did for the last 3 years. Well, we did last year. So we hold that event on Saturday, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And as part of the package, if you buy the Expo weekend package, you get a free ticket to go tour the Hall of Fame and watch that going on. Huge party Saturday night at the hotel being put on by Fantasy Affair. Those guys are it's going to be just come for the party. The hell with the rest of it. No, I'm just kidding. But then Sunday, we're going to do the expo, and all the big names are going to be there all weekend. So Brad Evans, Mike Clay, Andy Behrens, Dave Richards. Gosh, I can't even think of them all. We'll all be there for the weekend, and we all get together, and it's a great lot of fun. Like Kyle said, he was there. And Kyle, it's not the Midwest Expo anymore. It's just the Fantasy Football Expo now. So we took out the location scenario. But, yeah, it's a great time. Make sure you guys all come to that. Go to thefantasyfootballexpo.com, and you can get your ticket packages there and get all signed up. And if you want to get a booth and have your own booth and promote your own stuff that you're selling on your website or your, whatever guides or whatever products you sell in the fantasy football world, make sure you get a booth. We're over 50% sold out of those. So that's what it's all about.
Okay, what is the weekend again? I'm sorry.
Weekend of August 14th and 15th.
Okay, and is it virtual? Can they do it virtually?
They cannot. It's live in Canton, Ohio.
Live in Canton, Ohio.
So if you've always wanted to come to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, now's your opportunity, and you can hang out with all the coolest fantasy football experts in the country at the same time.
Let's talk party. There are two parties. There's one at the beginning and one at the end. Is that what you just said?
There's actually three parties. There's one Friday night because, well, there's nothing better to do on Friday night than drink anyway. It's not an official party. It's kind of a let's all go hang out and drink somewhere. Then Saturday is the official party. Then Sunday after the event is the after party, and that's usually put on by our friends at Dynasty Nerds.
So what I'm hearing, and I could be wrong, is that if you like the party, you want to go to the Dynasty Expo.
Right. So priorities are party first, fantasy football second, and then hangovers third.
Exactly. But if you keep partying, you won't have to worry about the hangover part.
That's right. If you just keep drinking, you never have a hangover.
Exactly. Just keep drinking, folks. All right, Danny.
That works.
Did you have any questions? Are you going, Danny?
No, I have. I'm baiting on it now. I've seen a lot of people tweet about it, but after hearing all this stuff, yeah, it's definitely in the front of my mind. Someone like myself, right? Like I play fantasy, but I'm not in the weeds as you all are. Like,
right, you got to come and learn from the best, and Danny, I'll make sure that you personally get a free PDF of the consistency guide after this weekend. I will email it to you, or hit me up on Twitter, and I'll DM me your email. I'll send it to you, so you'll be off to a great start right off the bat.
I appreciate it.
Of course, we get Gladys one as well.
Oh man, this might be the best Monday ever, Bob. That's awesome. I appreciate it.
I'm looking up what drugs. I don't need any drugs now. Got consistency guide. All right, and then I had one more question. So, Rich Dobson was amazing. Paid a pretty penny for the Sunday after party. So all of us really appreciate that so much. Kyle,
this is Dynasty Nerds. Rich Dobson from Dynasty Nerds. Yeah, he's a great guy.
And what I'm understanding from Kyle is that he likes to party, which I would have never thought, having known Kyle for just a little bit over a year. Way to go,
we're
my
all
man.
sneaky drunks. It just doesn't look that way. we just don't go to meetings, so we're not quitters.
Interesting. So, people that aren't like fully immersed, if you will, in fantasy football, is there something for them too?
Absolutely. I mean, again, the cool thing about this is there's going to be 45 booths, so you've got 45 different sites. When you come in and you buy a package, you get a swag bag, which is a really cool, like, one of those zip pullover bags, or what they call them, zip strings. But inside of it, all of the sites are going to put in coupons so that you can come to their site and, try it out for a month, or maybe you get it free for the season. And you can then kind of read and learn from all of these other sites so that you can kind of put together your own knowledge base of what you want to do. So you're going to get some of my consistency, and you're going to get some stuff from Full Time Fantasy, that's Scott Atkins and Michael Fabiano and those guys. So all these different sites are going to be there, and if you're into Dynasty, there's going to be multiple Dynasty sites. John Lobb, who's a college expert, if you've probably heard of him, the scholar, he's going to be there. They're going to do a college fantasy football draft on Saturday afternoon as well. So that's going to be fun if you're into college. So there's just so many things to do all weekend. And then there's a site called Draft Night Out. If you go there, they're putting on drafts during the day as well. And for like $30, you can get in a draft with 12 people. We're holding it at a brewery right down the street that you can go there. They're going to give away prizes and drawings and stuff during that, and swag stuff. So like I said, it's just a nonstop fantasy football weekend. It's really what it's all about. And that's what our goal has always been, is to have this so that people can come here, go tour the hall, hang out. If you're bringing significant others and they're not into football, that's fine. There's a place called Gervasi Vineyard that's right up the street that, like, my wife loves to go there as much as she can. And it's like this gorgeous, beautiful Italian looking area in the middle of a Canton, Ohio, and you never know it's Canton, Ohio if you didn't know you were there. So there's all kinds of great stuff to do in the city. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is only an hour away in Cleveland. So if you're into music and want to spend an extra day and go there, there's a lot of stuff to do around here. So that's always been the goal, is just to kind of bring people to my town that I've lived here all my life. And I think it's pretty cool from a football standpoint. I just wanted to add to it. So
that's pretty awesome, actually. It's way more awesome than I thought it would be. No disrespect intended.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Somebody on Twitter said, so is this going to be the Fire Festival of fantasy football? I said, now I'm on the same level as Ja Rule at this point. So this is nice.
Like, Canton Island all by yourself. All right. So if anyone has any questions or anything, I'm sure that you can hit Mr. Lung up on Twitter, or hit us up today, and we will get your questions answered. You should probably go get your tickets now. Hey, Kyle, we will get you across the border, buddy. There's no Canadian complications.
There's a lot of Canadians that want to come down that are still kind of feeling slighted. But I said, come on, by mid-July, they got to at least open it up, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I hope. Yeah, me too. So, because there's a lot of Canadians that play fantasy football. I didn't really realize that, but there's a lot. There is,
especially in like the Toronto area. Because they're right over they're basically over the border from Buffalo, and there's a lot of fans in that area.
All right, let's move on, and we will probably circle back to the expo before we leave. But the draft, which has just ended 2 days ago, ended Saturday. There are so many things. Danny, who's your team?
I'm an Eagles fan.
Oh, sorry. Bob, who's your team?
No.
Bob, are you Cleveland or Cincinnati?
Cleveland.
Ooh.
But just for Danny, so not talk about me a lot, but I seem to, right? So one of the things I also do is a volunteer for the Pro Football Hall of Fame every year. And so I've been driving enshrinees every year when they come in for the last 30 years. And 4 years ago, I drove Brian Dawkins. And he was probably the best guy I've ever met in my lifetime. Just the nicest, the coolest, the most inspirational guy you'll ever meet. Super
Long
cool.
Live Weapon X. Gladys, who is your team?
Steelers. Like there's another team. Come on, boys.
Ooh, this is going to get ugly. This is going to get ugly here. It's going to get real ugly.
That every year, although this year it was kind of good, but not as good, when they knock on that door, I literally cry. It doesn't even matter who is opening the door. It's the best thing ever when that big guy.
For the Hall of Fame thing.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
that's the most awesome thing. The knock on the door.
I know. I wanted to drive Palomalu so bad this year, and we have a fantasy draft for who to pick, and the guy right in front of me took Palomalu, so I'm driving John Lynch.
John Lynch, it would be pretty cool too.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm
John
excited.
Lynch
I've always been a big fan of him as a player and as a GM. So, but yeah, so Peyton's coming in this year, and Palomalu. It's going to be such a great group.
Yeah, because Palomalu, I literally love Troy Polamalu. Had 2 of his jerseys. Should have worn one today, but there's only so much Steelers you can do because they're just the best team in Pennsylvania, basically.
There it is. There it
That's
is.
true. We got like double. We got like double hatred here. We got the Pennsylvania group, and then we have the AFC North group.
Exactly. I would say they're the best in the AFC North, but that's just a lie. So I can't even go there right now. It's going to be sad. All right. So from a non-fantasy perspective, Danny Ocean, which team do you think hit it out of the ballpark for the draft?
Oh, the Bears. Like, it doesn't matter.
Thank you.
Yeah, Brian Pace and Matt Nagy were on life support Friday night, and then all of a sudden Justin Fields falls within striking distance. Like, they have another 3 years. They have another 3 years guaranteed, like, job security wise. Like, they found their guy, they lucked into him, and they're great. Like, if you're a Chicago Bears fan, like, whatever, I don't care. Rounds 2 through 7, you got me Justin Fields. Let's go have some fun in Chicago.
Right. I mean, I'm clearly not a Chicago Bears fan, and when they did that, one of my good friends is a Chicago Bears fan, and I'm like, you guys just killed the draft. It doesn't even matter what happens from here on out. You just killed the draft. But Mr. Long, what would you say?
Well, there's a tie, and you already took the first one, so I agree. The Bears did what they had to do, and I don't want to sound overly biased, but the Browns kicked some serious
the Browns
ass.
Killed it.
I mean, Greg Newsome has added another cornerback to a defensive backfield that has needed help. I mean, Ward has been okay, but, they haven't been – Greedy Williams has been healthy. Then they get the linebacker out of Notre Dame. Anthony Schwartz is a speed demon out of Auburn. They got another offensive tackle. This James Hudson's pretty good, a kid from Ohio State. And then they added in the 6th round Demetric Felton, who's a wide receiver / scat back, running back, and be like a Tyree Cohen. So because Kareem Hunt, his time's coming due that he's going to want a long-term contract, that they may not be able to pay him both. So I think, they knocked it out of the park from top to bottom, because every pick they got was a really solid value. And so I was really, really pleased. They're doing such a much better job at drafting than the old days. Thank God.
I can't. I physically cannot agree with you because they're in the
I can. Is your GM's Andrew Berry, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's painful knowing that the Eagles picked Howie Roseman over Andrew and let him walk to Cleveland. It's painful.
And we thank you.
Hey Jay, you are one of my favorite people too.
Hi Jay.
I honestly, until the draft, did not realize how big Myles Garrett is either.
He's a beast.
He's a beast.
Have you seen those videos of him showing up to random gyms and playing basketball? Just like the most average people on earth. Like, he's coming up like, hey, you want to play? Like, hell no, I don't want to play with you. I just came to shoot around. No. And he has like a camera crew and he's recording in 4K him dunking on people. Like, hell no, I don't want to play with you. This is a lie.
Yeah, no, that would not be something I would want to. I would think. I saw the video of the kid who tried to challenge some ex-NBA player to a shootout, and he just got schooled. I don't know why people think, yeah, I could beat him in the 40. No, you can't. You can't. No, stop the craziness. All right, Mr. Long, you will go first on this one. Who lost the draft?
Well, this team loses every year, let's be honest. And I don't even think I have to even go any further than that. You all know who I'm talking about, right? Who?
I'm hoping you're going to say
Cowboys?
The Raiders.
I was going to say the Raiders.
Oh, okay.
The Raiders.
They always, and they got this Mayock guy there that's supposed to be this genius, and Gruden, and then they pick a guy in the first round that they could have gotten the late second, and you just sit there and shake your head. And the thing is I've always been kind of a second team Raiders fan. Because when I was younger in the 70s, the Raiders were good, and there's the only team that could still beat the Steelers, and the Browns couldn't. So I had to root for somebody that beat the Steelers. So that was my Raiders. And, of course, that was their heyday in the 70s and early 80s. They had a brief moment there with Gruden at one time, but it's just such a mess there. And they never seem to, and then they do things like trade for Kenyon Drake. I'm like, why? Do you not believe in Josh Jacobs? Isn't he supposed to be your man 2 years ago when you drafted this kid, number one? Come on. Yeah. So Raiders always seem to screw it up, and they did. So, since the Browns don't anymore.
Everyone forgets that John Rader won the Super Bowl with Tony Dungy's players. John Gruden has never been a great talent evaluator. Wasn't he like the one that was like, Johnny Manziel's going to be like the next greatest thing, blah, blah, blah. So, but I'm surprised by Mike Mayock, because whenever he
I always thought he would be smarter than that.
And maybe Gruden's pulling the strings, but yeah, John Gruden has never been a great talent evaluator. So I'm not even sure why people are surprised that their picks suck so bad. What about you, Mr. Ocean? Who do you think lost? You think Dallas? Is that what you're going to say?
No, I just hate them. They actually did okay.
So he's going to say the Steelers.
No, I'm gonna say the Seahawks, because this is the year they had to pay the piper for the Jamal Adams trade. They only have 3 picks,
right?
And so it doesn't. It really can't. They didn't get many bites of the apple, so for me, it's Seattle.
Well, I'm not a big Dallas fan either, but did you see the picture of Jerry Jones with who's the linebacker that they picked out of Penn State?
Micah Parsons.
Oh, Micah Parsons.
He had Michael Parsons' son was asleep on Jerry Jones' shoulder. It was like the cutest thing ever. It was okay, whatever. It was cute. It was cute. You should have given him that. It was cute. Maybe I feel that the hate for the Cowboys runs deep in you. So very, very, very deep. All right, now we're going to go from a fantasy perspective. Kyle is like all on Johnny Manziel right now. Who, from a fantasy perspective, won? All right, here's the caveat to any of the questions asked about the fantasy perspective. You cannot mention James Robinson's name. James Robinson is out.
So we're talking about a player that benefited. Okay.
From a fantasy perspective, won the draft. Mr. Ocean.
Oh, well, since, again, I'm going to be really biased, I think Jalen Hurts wins fantasy-wise, because now he has Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Reagor, whatever he's going to be. You have a backfield of Miles Sanders. I feel like Nick Sirianni, if he's a guy they tell me he is, I feel like they can really have an explosive offense in Philadelphia with the addition of Devontae Smith.
Did you see the video of last year when so the Vikings picked after Philadelphia?
Yeah, and they laughed in our face, but that's okay because we beat them 38-7 and then went on to win the Super Bowl in their building, so they can laugh all they want.
Wow. Okay, whatever. Mr. Long, what fantasy player do you think lost?
Well, I don't want to be redundant because we already talked about him, but I'm still going to go with Trey Lance. Again, he walks into a situation with Kyle Shanahan as a coach, an excellent, group of receivers, tight ends, running backs, team around him, a really good defense if they're all healthy again. I feel like he's just walking into a winning situation. Whether he sets the world on fire fantasy-wise, it's hard to tell because, Shanahan's more about kind of ball control and stuff. So I'm not saying he's going to light the world on fire in his first year, but I could see him putting up a, consistent 18 to 20 fantasy points a week in that offense. So I think he has the most benefit there from a fantasy perspective.
Just personally on both of you, do you think that Mac Jones was ever a consideration for the 49ers? Or was that
Hell
just like
no. Hell no. They are not fools. I didn't believe that for a second.
I thought they would take Fields instead of Lance. Was what I was saying. I thought they were saying Lance all along, but they were going to take Fields. I really thought they would take Fields, but no, I never thought Mac Jones.
Okay.
Was
I can't imagine
Not Shanahan and Lynch.
Yeah, walking into Lynch's office and is like, "Yo, we need to trade up to 3 for Mac Jones. Make it happen." Like, hell, like he'll be fired. Like, dog, get out of my office. You're done. Go back to Atlanta.
Just hit him right in the chest. Like,
yeah, that's the kind of stuff they do in Atlanta, Kyle. You're not there anymore. We're smart. We're smart over here.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I was just because I've never been on Mac Jones as high as everyone else has, and it was odd to me that they kept going, yeah, it's between Mac Jones and Trey Lance, and I'm like, what about Justin Fields? I don't understand.
Yeah.
But okay, that you guys agree, I'm happy. So, Danny, what fantasy player not named James Robinson lost value?
Oh man. The stream didn't freeze. I'm thinking. Bob, can Bob go first?
I'll go first. As long as I don't take yours, but since you don't have one, I'm going to go with the entire Cincinnati Bengals wide receiving corps. I was all in on T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd this year because with Joe Burrow at quarterback, they were both 70% consistent in those games. And I'm like, this is going to be great. And then they went out and got Ja'Marr Chase, damn it. So now they all three are going to be eating each other's targets, and nobody's going to be a fantasy star, and it's going to suck. So there, that's who lost.
You offer them because of Ja'Marr Chase, or you offer them because they don't have an offensive line?
No, I'm off them because of. I mean, now those two guys' value is going to drop, and Ja'Marr Chase, so they're going to kind of like just be a third, and that's not great for fantasy value. You want the guy that's going to be in the top 20. And I don't think any of them are going to be in the top 20 now. And it's a good point for Kyle, though, Mike Davis. But, like I said, I was really high on getting Boyd and Higgins because of how good they were with Burrow in place. I mean, their defense still sucks. They're still going to have to throw the ball a lot. And they all could be solid fantasy players, but none of them are going to be higher than maybe a wide receiver 2 on your team. But, you can get one of, and who's going to be the odd man out? Is it Higgins? Is it Boyd? It's going to be tough. So it just makes it just lowered the value. And so I think they lost value. And there's my theory on lost.
And okay, Mr. Ocean, you've had time. What do you got?
Yep. Any Giants player that touches the football because Daniel Jones sucks. Hi, Jay.
Oh, like Kenny Galladay?
Kenny, Evan, Saquon, Slayton, all Daniel Jones is your quarterback. You lose all automatically.
Wow, that sounds slightly personal, but we'll take it.
It seemed like it was.
It's very personal. I've had it out for Giants fans since week 17 last year.
I'm going to ask you this: do you play fantasy? So say a player spurns you, do you never pick him again, or do you
no. Usually when I play fantasy, money's on the line, and I can put all that aside.
Okay, and I think that's Jay's answer to you. Which Jay's so nice.
He's
so
very
nice,
sweet,
isn't he? He's just like the nicest person in the world. Because I don't think I would have been that nice. All right, Danny. Even though we know that your process of evaluating superheroes is slightly
accurate.
Slightly skewed is what I said. Who is your favorite superhero?
So it used to be Iron Man, and then I used the logic of if Batman is not a superhero because he's rich, then there's no way Iron Man can be a superhero just because he's rich. So
nice, I like it.
So for me, it's Spider-Man.
Which Spider-Man?
It's funny you mentioned that because one of the questions is what position would they play, and I will tease that later when we get Bob's answer.
Bob, who's your favorite superhero?
So for a long time, it was Superman. And then I saw the first Deadpool movie. And from this point on, it's now Deadpool.
That's a great answer.
Deadpool is
he's the best.
Ryan Reynolds is
he's
I can't
the best.
imagine playing Deadpool actually ever again. All right, Danny. Did you tell me why he's your superhero? You didn't say why, did you?
Oh, I did not, because he's funny. I feel like he and I would get along. It's nothing like beating up Scorpion and making fun of him at the same time. It takes a special kind of human being to make fun of the people you're fighting at the same time.
Okay, and Bob, why is Deadpool your superhero?
because he's even funnier than any of them.
Yeah.
The sarcasm, the rudeness, the everything that goes with it. And it's funny because we're going to get to another superhero that's really not a superhero, but he shows up in another one of your questions, and the movie is that person playing a superhero, and that one is another one I would find amusingly entertaining.
Okay, I just want to iterate that, again, Danny's view on superhero slightly skewed. Danny, you're Spider-Man. What position on the football field would he play?
So there are multiple Spider-Mans. In my phone, I thought about like the main ones, and I kind of built my own little roster. So the 90s Spider-Man, Peter Parker from Fox, he is the quintessential tight end. He's massive. He runs fast, great hands, great reflexes. I feel like he'd throw great blocks. Tobey Maguire is my slot receiver. He's a little wiry, but I feel like he can move around and get open over the middle. Andrew Garfield is tall. He is my X receiver. We're running a traditional West Coast offense. He is my X receiver. He's big. I'm going to get him some jump balls in the end zone and let him do his thing. Tom Holland is my corner. He's my CB1. Tom has long arms. He's not the biggest. He's not the tallest, but he's quick. I feel like his ball skills would be impeccable. He is CB1. We're putting him on Julio Jones, and Julio's not catching a thing. And then Miles Morales from
The Spider-Verse.
The Spider-Verse. He is my running back. He ran so much in that movie. I just can't imagine him doing anything else than getting handoffs and running sweeps.
Yeah, but who's your quarterback then?
Who's my quarterback? Ooh. Does it have to be a superhero? Or can it be anybody?
It can be anybody.
Anybody? Oh, then
Yep.
Michael. It'll be Michael Vick.
Okay. Yeah, I could see him throwing to Miles. But, okay, the only thing I have issue with is Tom Holland on the defense.
Tom has heart. Tom fought Winter Soldier and Falcon simultaneously. He tried to rip the glove off Thanos. Like, he has heart and confidence. And I feel like as a corner, that is your top trait. You need confidence. You need heart.
He did try to rip the glove off Thanos, and he did
and
fight.
Then Star-Lord ruined it. Yeah. He could have fallen off the spaceship, and he could have went to New York and went back to class. But no, he stayed on the spaceship, and he flew to nowhere. Was it nowhere? What's the planet, Thanos? I'm too deep in the weeds. I'm sorry.
No, nowhere was the planet that I thought that what's her face went to.
Where Gamora went. Nowhere is when Gamora went, and Thanos turned him into string cheese.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. I think Jay's trying to make friends with you now. I think Jay's trying to get over that.
So this beef between Jay and I goes a lot deeper than superheroes. It goes into chicken wings. It goes into football. But Jay, I appreciate the olive branch. Know that I see you and I appreciate you, and my heart is full because you and I agree about
that. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm not. I think it's bullshit. What position would Deadpool play?
So it was a tough one, but I went with he's going to play middle linebacker because he's going to be the guy that's basically trash talking the quarterback while things are starting to happen and making fun of him, call his mom fat, all that kind of good stuff. Probably a lot ruder than that, but we'll just keep it clean. But I put him at middle linebacker just because, he'll be able to move around a lot, trash talk, get in people's faces, that kind of stuff. Kind of a Ray Lewis kind of guy, but on a much ruder level.
I like that. I like it a lot because I think that talking about musical instruments and shoes, I don't even know what you're talking about, Kyle.
What?
Does anyone know what I was talking about?
Kyle, keep drinking.
Yeah, I like.
Kyle's talking about Jay and I's chicken beef.
I gotcha.
Drums versus flats. That's your chicken beef?
That's
your chicken beef.
The chicken wing beef. Drums versus flats.
God. You guys are so ridiculous. Okay. I don't eat chicken, so I can't.
Okay, Bob, do you have a preference between flats or drums? This is starting a gang war, on Twitter.
I'm sorry, I'm a boneless guy, so that's what you mean. Okay.
You're a boneless guy? You don't
like
eat chicken
boneless wings. I don't like wings with bones. I want all meat. I don't want to have any leftovers to have to throw aside. If you're going to give me chicken, then give me chicken that's boneless.
So can I ask you this question then, just intellectually. So you're saying that you don't like to work to get to the chicken meat. Is that
No,
what I'm
it's
hearing?
kind of like, like people go to Maryland and eat crabs and sit there and eat for 2 hours and lose weight because the amount of meat you get out of them and the work you put into it, it's like a diet.
See, with
It's
that
not
kind
worth
of
time.
thinking, I would like to draft you to the drum side because that is my train of thought. When you eat flats, you have to break them in half, and it takes a lot of work. With drums,
Yeah, right.
it's just 2 bites and you're done. Welcome, Bob. You are,
Okay, I'm in.
you're on the drum side. Take that, Jay. We're getting strong over here. We're getting stronger over here.
So you drafted Bob to the honorary drum side of the chicken fight.
I have.
Yes.
Okay, I guess that's cool. Whatever. You're a Philly fan. You're a Philly. Wait, are you from Philly? No.
No, I'm not from
He's
Philly.
from Virginia.
My wife is from South Jersey, if that counts.
That's
No.
close enough.
She's been to Sixers games before, so yeah, I'm 132, 116th Philadelphian, if that counts. I went once for a bachelor party, so close enough.
Okay, no, but I can't. TV.
Yeah,
who-
T. Like
That's
we're
my
just
sister. That's my
T.
sister.
This is just an open recruitment for drums. That's right.
Okay, she doesn't even like football. Hi, Terry. But she is a teacher and she is my sister, so she's hyper cool, even though her take on food isn't the greatest.
Superb.
Whatever. It isn't the greatest. All right, we're going to skip over a question real quick and we'll come back to it. But because this kind of goes with the superheroes thing, if you could draft an NBA player to play on an NFL team, who would the player be and what team would it be and why? And Mr. Long, we'll go with you first because I'm pretty sure Mr. Ocean's answer is going to take like a while.
Oh, mine's going to take 3 seconds. LeBron James to the Browns because he's an Akron boy. He's from the Cleveland, Northeast Ohio area, and he would be amazing at tight end, let's be honest.
He probably would be, actually. Mr. Ocean.
It was LeBron at tight end. It's the only thing that fits. It's like LeBron would be the perfect tight end.
Yeah, right, exactly.
All right. Any player not named LeBron.
Any player not named LeBron. Joel Embiid, again, tight end.
He's really big, isn't he? Embiid?
Yes, but he's very athletic for a man his size. Okay, how about this? Joel Embiid at left tackle. Is that?
Yeah, I like that a lot better.
Okay,
I like
Joel
that.
Embiid at left tackle.
That I like that a lot better. Would he still be on Cleveland? What team would he be on?
He'd be. Is that rhetorical? He'd be an Eagle.
Come on, he plays for the Eagles.
Well, where were you putting LeBron? He said Cleveland, and you agreed with him.
Yeah,
so,
for me,
Yeah,
he just said
yeah.
no. He said LeBron should be a tight end. He didn't say first.
Yeah, I didn't say where, but yeah, LeBron should be wherever LeBron wants to play tight end. He could be tight end. He can draft himself to whatever team he
he
wants.
play for the Eagles. I'm almost positive that LeBron would not want to play for the Eagles at all.
That's rude, but okay. He wants to go to Pitt. He wants to go to Pittsburgh. He wants to play with Ben Roethlisberger, who can't throw from here to the window.
Whoa! Let's not talk about Roethlisberger arm. It's 6'2". Yeah. Okay. I am a diehard Steelers fan, and Roethlisberger is one of my least favorite players in the universe. The universe. That we bought him back, I almost cried. If I cried, I would have cried.
Oh, you'll be crying in October. Don't worry. Save those tears.
Yeah, when Mason Rudolph is quarterbacking again, and Myles Garrett comes in with a helmet to his head.
Oh, that was beautiful TV. Joe Buck was clutching his pearls, but it was beautiful. I enjoyed every moment of it.
I was honestly on the Myles Garrett team on that one because Mason Rudolph's just kind of like a punk. He's like the kid you want to punch in the face when he just on the field. So I totally was behind Myles Garrett on that. Pittsburgh just needs to get a quarterback. All right, that's all I have to say about that whole conversation. Mr. Long, what is your drafting strategy for fantasy football? Do you have one?
I write a book about it. It's called Consistency. Getting the most consistent players I can get who can score the most points on a consistent weekly basis. Hasn't failed me yet.
So you go into a draft, say you have like the 4th pick. Mm-hmm. You're not going for a position. You're not going for a particular player. You're going for...
I mean, you're still going for the player, but obviously you want to get, a top running back normally in the first 4 picks. So I'm going to get a very consistent one who's, like a Dalvin Cook or a, McCaffrey or Barkley or, Kamara, whoever, because those guys are 85, 90% consistent, during the season, and that's what you want. At that point. Now, where the consistency really comes into play is more in the mid rounds when somebody is drafting a upside rookie receiver who may or may not be that consistent during the year because it's their first year, versus passing on a veteran like, let's say, a Keenan Allen or a Robert Woods, who you can count on for 70% consistency during the year. That's where I usually make the playoffs more often than not, because I'm getting those kind of players and creating a consistent core to my starting team, then taking some flyers on some potential upside and stuff later in the draft. That's always been my strategy, and it's worked out pretty well.
And this goes for quarterbacks too?
Yeah, quarterbacks and tight ends are the ones that are the toughest to find consistency because there's not a lot of them, especially at tight end.
Right.
So, that's where it really comes into play of finding those right guys. This year and even last year, you almost want to draft a quarterback and a tight end a little bit earlier than you normally would, just so you guarantee. I mean, I've done some mock drafts where the first 2 rounds I went Kelsey at like pick number 9 in the first round, and then came back and took Mahomes like in round 3. Just because I know I'm going to get 90% consistency out of both of them. And you can't say that guaranteed for every quarterback nowadays. Even Lamar Jackson showed that he was human last year. So it's, so that's the key, is trying to make sure you can build that kind of team around with those kind of players. And then, of course, injuries and everything come into play. But, you miss the playoffs every year by 1 or 2 games. A lot more often than not, it's because you have some inconsistent players that are hurting your team more than they're helping you.
Excellent. I am definitely going to have to get this guide.
And when you get the guide, you will be able to read about all that.
And that is the Fantasy Football Consistency Guide. I can't talk. All right, Mr. Ocean, do you have a draft strategy?
I do.
To draft all the Eagles players?
No, I try to stay away from that. I try to stay away from Eagles players, to be honest. Yeah, I don't want to get too emotionally attached. I can talk myself into any Eagles offensive player, and if I'm getting there, like, oh yeah, he can do this, then I was like, no, you don't need to draft him. But yeah, I tried to, like Bob said, like if I'm in the top 4 or 5, it's like I need to grab a running back. Like I've had Dalvin Cook every year for like 3 years, and it's always worked out. In one draft last year, actually, I was like picking 7th, and all the running backs were gone, and I ended up grabbing, like you said, Kelsey, and it worked wonders for me. So usually it's running back, or like Bob said, same kind of strategy. I'm just not as good at it. Who is going to be consistent week in and week out? But I will be better because I'm going to read Bob's.
You will be.
Profile.
So last year I was in a league and I picked up Jalen Hurts, and for the 2 games that he played, and I won. But I would only say that not because he's an Eagle, but because he's Jalen Hurts. Because I usually try to stay away from Eagle players. I don't know that I've ever thought, which may be my problem, although I don't do that bad in fantasy, but I guess on some level we're all looking for consistency, but I don't think I've ever thought about it like that. I mean, that's interesting.
And here's the other thing. If you didn't have the data in front of you to tell you who the most consistent players are, how do you know? And that's what the book does. Because a lot of people be like, I've actually seen people on Twitter go, oh, I really love this player because he's really consistent. And then I'll post their profile out of my book in the response and go, I'm going to beg to differ. Not to be a dick, just to show them, and they're like, well, where'd you get that from? I'm like, by this book. And they're like, okay. So, some people think players are consistent, but they may not be. Like a lot of people always think Amari Cooper was always consistent, and he wasn't. But everybody would draft him as like their wide receiver 1, and he wasn't very consistent. Now, last year he was, and I think going forward he will be, because I think him and Prescott have a much better rapport, and there's 2 other really good receivers to take the pressure off him as the number 1. So, so players change. They will improve, or the situations improve, and then their consistency can improve. But, it's getting those players that are those boom and bust. Mike Evans is a big boom and bust guy,
Right.
So, those are the kind of guys that people will draft and go, oh man, I got Mike Evans. He's my wide receiver 1. Well, he's only 2/3, 67% consistent. That means 1/3 of those games he didn't earn over 10 points, fantasy points in a PPR league. That's going to kill you. So, again, if you go 8-7 instead of 9-6, and you miss the playoffs by a game, problem could have been Mike Evans. So
I'm just going to say, I am oddly excited to read this fantasy football.
Okay, good. I'm oddly excited to get it to you.
Wow.
Yeah. And once you read it, if you want me to come back on and you have questions and maybe even get some other folks to, we'll do this again. I think Andy come on too, and he can ask questions.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but I think that like we're looking into doing like Danny, you were in that talk, right? Where we're going to do like a 24-hour draft fantasy football during. That would be a brilliant time for you to come on, Mr. Long, because that's when people are drafting, and they can ask you questions then. But I'm jumping the gun there. Hey, so I'm going to slide this question in real quick because I don't understand what's happening. Danny, explain to me the NBA playoff play-in game. Is this a thing?
Yeah, so the play-in tournament, top 6 seeds are guaranteed a playoff spot. Spots 7, 8, 9, and 10 are going to have a play-in. So seeds 7 and 8 will play one game. The winner of that game is the 7 seed. 9 and 10 will play a game. The winner of that game will play the loser of the 7-8. So let's see where the Western Conference stands, because this is coming from LeBron's comments, right? Like he's saying it sucks.
Oh, no, but
also okay. So LeBron last night. So the Lakers have been sliding since LeBron is hurt. He came back last night, and then he mentioned whoever created this play-in tournament should be fired, and that's because the Lakers would have to participate in it. So right now, let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10 are the Trailblazers, the Lakers, the Grizzlies, and the Warriors. It's not 10. It's to the 9th seed. So the Lakers would have to play the Grizzlies. Whoever wins that game is the 7 seed. The Warriors and Spurs play. Whoever wins that will have to play the loser of the Lakers-Grizzlies game for the 8th seed. So potentially the 8th seed has to play 2 extra games before the playoffs.
Why would you do this instead of doing what they normally do, which I guess is you just go by where you land at the end, right?
Yeah, this is for money. This is more TV time, more ad time. This is a pure money grab. I mean, it was cool last year in the bubble, but now that it's extended to the regular season, outside of the bubble, they're great games, but you have something. You're in a situation where you get one good Steph Curry game, and the Lakers are out of the playoffs, and that's not good overall for the NBA to have LeBron sitting at home because Steph went nuclear and dropped 50. And now the Lakers aren't in the playoffs, which can totally happen. So I can understand why he's a little pissed off.
So wait, last year there was a play-in?
Mm-hmm. There was a play-in game. Yeah.
Ah, okay. All right. As you can tell, I don't know that much about NBA, although I did watch the playoffs, which I guess everybody does because they're exciting. But is this a thing for sure they're going to do it, or is it just in the talks?
Oh, it's happening. No, it's been collectively bargained. They're going to do it. It's happening. I think the play-in games are in 2 weeks, the 14th, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's the WNBA tip-off. But the play-in games, I think each team has like under 10 games left. So this play-in tournament is coming down the pipe pretty fast.
Where did the Nuggets sit in this? Do they have to go play on?
No, so since Jamal Murray tore his ACL, the Nuggets have went 9-1. They're 3rd in the West. Jokic is really putting in a push for MVP. He's been balling.
Yes. Okay.
Are you a Nuggets fan?
No, but I live in Denver, so.
Okay. They are very happy in Denver. The Nuggets they were in the play-in tournament, or they were in striking distance of being in the play-in tournament. Now they're well off. They're not going to sniff it.
Yeah, I'm not a pro basketball fan, so I don't really have a team. So that I live in Denver, I am going to be a Denver Nuggets fan, I think.
It's a good time to hop on.
Well, yeah, it's not really going to be a hop on. I'll just be like, hey guys. Okay, Mr. Long, who Cleveland? Are you still a Cleveland fan? What are they? Cavaliers?
Yeah, the Cavaliers. Yeah, we've seen LeBron come and go, but he did something that nobody else in this town has done for any sports team in, forever, and that's win a championship. So we love LeBron, and, there's those who hate him because he left and came and whatever. He won a championship. I love him. And he does so much for this community too. I mean, he puts hundreds of kids through college, pays for it himself. He's an amazing human being. So I just kind of disregard all the haters. But anyway, but yeah, he's, you know. So the Cavs are a young team on the grow. You know, they got some good players, Sexton and some of those guys. So, you know, hopefully in a couple of years they keep drafting well in free agency, and you know they'll get back into a playoff swing and start making pushes. But they're still pretty young.
Okay, that is our NBA segment for today. Now we're going to go to movies. And I don't know if you guys saw on Will Smith's Instagram, the picture he posted of himself being out of shape. My God, I love that man. So name your top 3 Will Smith movies, Mr. Long.
All right, number 1, Independence Day. Number 2, Pursuit of Happiness. And number 3, my other superhero movie, Hancock. I thought that movie was hilarious. Laughed my ass off that movie.
I've never seen Hancock.
No?
What?
Yeah, it's like that, and I Am Legend I've never seen. I'm Legend I've never seen because the dog.
And I was like, I should put in I Am Legend, but I just like those others.
What?
I cannot watch a movie where the dog dies. They kill. You could tell.
I gotta
They
go.
kill a dog in Hancock.
Yeah, no.
But the dog sacrifices himself for Will. Like like you cry, but it's very powerful moment of man's best friend.
Sacrificed himself for the dog. I cannot watch a movie where the dog dies.
Oh, that's fair.
Mr. Ocean, top 3 Will Smith movies.
Number 3, Independence Day. Number 2, Bad Boys. Bad Boys 1 and 2. I'm not 3 is okay, but 1 and 2 are just like, if it's on TV, it's on TV and it's being watched. And number 1, I had this argument on Twitter this weekend, and a lot of people, Jay included, dragged me for this, but Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West is a great movie. I don't care what anybody says.
I thought it was good. I mean, I didn't put it in my top 3.
I had the Burger King sunglasses from that movie. You got Will Smith in the action movie. You had Drew Hill giving us the song of the summer, and Burger King giving us sunglasses. Come on, man! Like what more does an 8-year-old need?
My goodness, Wild Wild West.
Wild Wild West is an excellent piece of art.
You're gonna put Wild Wild West number 1.
Yeah, Wild Wild West number 1. Put it up there, tattoo it, put it in blood, write it in ink.
Yeah, I know. There's some other good ones. I mean, people are bringing them up. Enemy of the State, Men in Black, Hitch. I thought Hitch was hilarious too, with Kevin James. And another one that was he did a really good job at acting. Well, 2 of them was Concussion and Ali, of course.
Yeah, I forgot about Ali.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of great. I mean, I went through them. I'm like, God, I don't know if I can pick a top 3 here, but I had to do it. So. I like Wild Wild West, but
I didn't know there was such a chain of.
I couldn't put it. I can't put it in the top 10 or top 6.
I didn't know there was a segment of Twitter that hated Wild Wild West so much until Sunday.
Well, that's because there must be a segment of Twitter that's like really, really smart about movies.
Wild Wild West is an excellent piece of film.
Oh my God.
Is it?
It is art. Played in the Louvre.
That's like saying the Legend of Beggar Vance. The Legend of Beggar Vance is art. I'm sorry. Enemy of the State, Kyle, yes. Terry, Men in Black 1, yes. Wild Wild West, never. I would even watch.
Stop listening to Twitter and think for yourself. You know in your heart that seeing that giant.
You haven't watched Hancock yet. We'll watch Hancock and
I might even watch I Am Legend up to the part where the dog dies before I watch Wild Wild West again.
You're right.
Like,
see, now you're trying to hurt my feelings, and it's not going to work.
I think you did.
Because Wild Wild West is excellent.
Oh my God!
I don't understand what you guys are watching. Is there a version that you guys watch that I don't watch? Because the version I watch is excellent. The outfits are great.
I don't smoke enough weed to make it that excellent, though.
You have a giant mechanical spider.
Was there anyone who agreed with you? Anyone? Was there anyone who agreed
Some
with you?
people say who love it. I don't think people love it as much as I do, right? Because there's a lot of nostalgia in it, right? You have the Burger King sunglasses. The album was great.
There's a personal connection for you.
It's a personal connection. Wow.
Yeah, it's a personal connection.
And then you have like Salma Hayek was great in it.
Personal connections.
Oh, my goodness. All right, I'm gonna stop this nonsense right now. We are going to.
I think this is the rant time where he starts ranting.
Rant time. So I'm gonna let Mr. Ocean reconsider his rant or like rethink maybe. And Mr. Long, what is your rant?
My rant. I guess I'm just. It's not a rant. I think it's more of a rant of happiness, and I'm just so happy that the viruses the vaccines are all being done. There's enough out there. People are getting vaccinated. The world is getting closer back to normal. It's great that it kind of perfectly arrives right around the time of my fantasy football expo. That's cool. But it's just, just looking forward, like we're going on vacation with all 10 of our family, like kids and grandkids and being able to do stuff and travel again. And I just got to rant about how happy I am. And I think a lot of people are that the summer is coming, we're heading the right direction with this stuff, and we can maybe finally get back to normal and, and not have to wear masks and not have to be 6 feet apart and all that crap.
I like that. I like the reversal of the ramp. I like it. Mr. Ocean, what you got?
I don't know. I feel like I've been dragged for everything I've said tonight. I think I'm gonna piggyback off Bob's and just the happiness that we seem to be on the up and up. That is a great way, because usually I rant about stuff that annoys or pisses me off, but to flip it on its head and talk about something positive and how we are starting. It appears we're coming out of this thing is a great way to end the night. And Wild Wild West is a piece of art.
Okay. That was wonderful, everything you said except for the last part. And all right, what are you drinking? Just out of curiosity. What are you drinking, Danny?
I was drinking, my wife and I went to Asheville this weekend, so I bought a local brew. I was drinking it throughout the show. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I like ales. I'm a golden ale kind of guy. Lagers, ales. Nice. I hate IPAs. That's another rant for another time. IPAs are disgusting. People only drink them when they get drunk.
I'm in on that one. Count me in on that one. Hate them. Too hoppy.
Mr. Long, before we leave, please, one more time, Fantasy Football Expo and your wonderful guide that you have.
Thank you. Once again, thank you for having me on. Great time, Danny. I'm in on all this stuff except that one movie. But other than that, I'm good. And I liked the movie. It wasn't like I didn't like it. But anyway, find me at Twitter at Bob_Lung, website, BigGuyFantasySports.com. This weekend, check out Amazon, and you'll probably see the announcement all over Twitter. But anyway, the 2021 Fantasy Football Consistency Guide will be out. You'll be able to get that. And it's nice. It's printed. They ship it to you. And if you're an Amazon Prime, you get it in 2 days usually, or whatever their usual time is. And then, of course, Fantasy Football Expo coming this August 14th and weekend of August 14th and 15th. Expo's on the 15th. But come for the whole weekend. And that is at the website is thefantasyfootballexpo.com. So again, Gladys, thank you for having me. It's a great time. And Danny, good to meet you, and everybody else. Kyle, thanks for chiming in there. Good to hear from you again.
Mr. Ocean, where can we find you, and what are you doing, sir?
You can find me on Twitter at MadAds14. As Gladys says, it's no rhyme or reason. It's just a bunch of words put together with the number 14 at the end. You can catch me tomorrow night, Tuesday nights, 7 o'clock on the Going for Two Live Network with my good friend, Losty Mix. We speak on it. We talk about sports, and I might bring our conversation about IPAs and Wild Wild West from tonight to tomorrow's show. So tune in for that. Kyle is a great participant of the show. He is actually our research department. We ask questions in real time, and Kyle is so generous to chase down answers for us. But we cannot pay you, Kyle, because we are like the NCAA. We are a nonprofit. We cannot pay our help. But know that we appreciate you.
I want to thank Kyle for always chiming in. I want to thank Garrison for his Manscaped boxers update, which is true. They are quite comfortable. And I want to I hope, Sean, good luck on your fantasy and your dynasty. I hope you pick the right player at your 102. Don't go Zach Wilson. That's all we had to say, either Lance or Fields. PJ, thank you for, your very, very astute superhero. Iron Man is a superhero. Thank you very much for that.
Being rich is not a superpower, people. If that's the case, Elon Musk, the fate of the world is in Elon Musk's hands. Do you want that?
That still may happening, though. That still may happen.
Do you want the fate of the world in Jeff Bezos' hands? Is that what you want? Is that what the streets is crying for right now?
TV, thank you for showing up and giving your drums. Definitely nod to Danny. I'm sure he appreciates all the help he can get on that. And I want to thank everyone else who joined us. We will see you in 2 weeks. Next week, you should join Kyle on his show because it is fabulous, as Kyle is. Mr. Long, Mr. Ocean, I appreciate both of you so very much. Thank you for being on. I hope to see you and talk to you soon. Maybe, about how The Wild Wild West sucks so bad as a movie. And everyone else.
Nothing you can say can break my spirit on Wild Wild West. You can keep it coming.
I have to watch it again. I got to watch it again soon.
Watch it again. We should have a watch party.
There we go.
Everyone's gonna have to watch it Wild Wild West again. They're like, what did I miss? What is he seeing that I don't see? Is Selma Hayek in that? Is she the girl?
She is the girl.
So Selma Hayek is really good in that. I will give you that.
Everyone is good in that movie. I don't know what you're talking about. The movie is excellent from beginning to end.
Who plays the bad guy? I forget his name.
Loveless is the character's name.
I know that.
But he has a wheelchair that turns into a spider. Like, what do you want?
I know, but I was trying. He was a pretty well-known actor, and I can't think of his name.
It's Kevin Kline, isn't it? Wasn't
That's
Kevin
it.
Kline?
Kevin Kline. You're right. That's it. Kevin Kline.
I just know it's Loveless.
About this movie not to like it. There's something wrong there.
No, I just know his name is Loveless. I don't care what his real name is.
That's because you heard the song a million times. Yeah. And then rhymes Loveless with something in it.
Yeah, he does.
Guys, thank you so much. We will see you next time. Good night.
Thank you for having us.